So, do they have a secret handshake, a password to the treehouse, a little hat with mouse ears on it? Well, we might never know, because the club I'm talking about is not for people like you and me. And I'm talking about a club of donors. Donors in American politics that's so exclusive that only about 40 families could qualify. And the membership requirement, the only membership requirement, is that you are friends with Jeffrey Epstein. And that club, that group of people, has spent $1.6 billion picking your elected officials since Citizens United. And 84% of that has been spent on Republicans. Shocking, right? This is my shocked face. And before I dive into this, I've got to tell you, no one I mention here has been convicted of anything with Epstein, and just being associated with Jeffrey Epstein is not a crime. But Epstein's contact list is still out fundraising both parties' small donors, period. I mean, in a way, this Epstein list could functionally be its own super PAC. And all of this comes from a new report from Americans for Tax Fairness, and it was built from actual FEC and DOJ filings. These are documented. 40 billionaires and billionaire families with credible, documented ties to Epstein, with the black book mentions, the flight logs, the relationships. They have spent over $1.57 billion in U.S. elections since 2010. 84%. Over $1.3 billion going to Republicans or conservative causes. Only 7% going purely to Democrats. The Adelson family alone spent $745 million, all going to conservative sources, because that's what they push. And they are referenced hundreds of times in the Epstein files. Elon and Kimball Musk, they're listed next at $365 million. And Donald Trump's own campaigns and super PACs personally received $282 million from this exact group of Epstein-connected donors. Peter Thiel, mentioned in nearly 3,000 Epstein documents. He's on the black book. 2,500 emails traded between the two of them. You also have Epstein bestie Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, literally Epstein's next-door neighbor in Manhattan for years. And there are DOJ documents showing him saying to Jeff how excited he was to visit years after Lutnick claims that he cut off ties. You have Jared Kushner, Mark Andreessen, Reid Hoffman, referenced in 2,600 separate documents from this year's release alone. These are not random rich guys who just happened to shake his hand at a gala. These are people that were well connected to Jeffrey Epstein, and the specific people funding the exact government that currently gets to decide how much of the Epstein files you get to see. The suspects are now underwriting the investigation, and everyone is supposed to just be cool with it. And I've got to ask you guys, when does the blowback actually have teeth in this country? We see this elite class. They are practically flaunting their behavior and their disdain for regular people like us. So tell me, in the comments, what will it take for these billionaires to actually feel pressure? And look, the numbers I mentioned, they may sound like a lot. And to normal people, it is a lot. But for this group, this $1.6 billion in political spending, it represents 0.09%, less than 0.1% of this group's combined wealth. Their combined wealth sits around $1.7 trillion. So let's math this out, shall we? Let's apply it to normal people like us. Let's say that you are lucky enough to have 10 grand to your name. This would be the equivalent of you donating $9. Just $9. It's the equivalent of rounding up for charity when you check out at Taco Bell when you're buying a Mexican pizza at 12:30 in the morning. Oh, come on, don't act like you don't do this. It's not just me. The drive-thru's way too packed after midnight. Anyway, this particular round up for charity button, the one that these billionaires are pressing, it happens to buy you Congress. And it happens to be pocket change to these people that helps control whether their names actually ever see daylight in unredacted Epstein files. And the reason that people like Donald Trump and people like Jeffrey Epstein get away with things for so long is that they have money and they use their money and access to buy protection their entire lives. And the billionaires that are orbiting these people, they're doing the same thing. Now they're just doing it through the campaign finance system. Thank you, Citizens United. And hit that notification icon because you probably didn't see this FEC filing or the DOJ filings reported in the corporate media, yet independent media like us, we will keep putting it out there.